What's going on, everyone? Jimmy Like Halo here back again, and today we're talking about Super Mario Odyssey. Now, Super Mario Odyssey is a game that came out in 2017 for the Switch, and it was a really good game, and I liked it a lot in my first playthrough, right? That first playthrough was really fun, but it wasn't until years and years later, like earlier this year, that I finally came back and replayed the game because all this time I thought I never had the drive to replay it for whatever reason. And it wasn't until I finally gave it another replay that I'm like, oh yeah, this game is replayable. Because for the longest time, I just didn't think it was replayable. And for me, replayability in a game is pretty much what makes the game for me. Um, that doesn't necessarily mean if it's not replayable, it's a bad game. It just means it's not quite as valuable or I don't know, it's hard to explain, but for me, replayability is a huge factor in games, so that's why I like a lot of games. Like, people do challenge runs on, like, Persona and Pokemon and Mario and, what's Resident Evil. That's another good replayable game, because there's, like, incentives to do so. A lot of, like, new game plus type of games, but even without that, like, Mario 64 for me, I play that all the time. I've replayed it countless times, but I don't know. There's just something about it. This game, I didn't find it replayable until now. I changed my mind. It is very replayable. It's a lot of fun the second time, believe it or not. But yeah. So this is the case, as you can see here, and the inside is just the lyrics for Jump Up Superstar, which is cool. There's a little red cartridge, and there's the back. Now, this game is pretty similar to Mario 64 in the way the layout works. It's kind of more open than that game. Like the worlds you go to, once you get a moon, you just keep going next to this moon. It's not like a level that you get out of and go back in. Kind of like Banjo-Kazooie, but it's each like world is far more open, and there's a lot more moons, which are the equivalent of stars in it. So it's kind of more. It's not quite open world. It's kind of like open zone, like the people for Sonic Frontiers described. But I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about. So as you can see here, Metro Kingdom, for example, um, worlds are open ended like Mario 64. But as you can see, this is a much larger. This map doesn't make it look that big, but it's a much larger open area, and there's like little zones within this area, and it's like it works pretty similar to Mario 64. It's not quite like Galaxy. That game's much more linear in the levels, and it's not like Sunshine either because that's a little bit more linear. But yeah, mainly Mario 64, more sandbox, openy. You think we would have gotten a sequel to this by now because it was 2017 and it's 2024, and that was 7 years ago. Not even a DLC or anything. The most closest thing we got was Bowser's Fury, which is really good and I like a lot. I hope that's like an evolution of what we're getting next. Also, another thing to mention, this game is pretty open and yet it still runs at 60 frames. Very good optimization on the Switch. Also, it looks like really good. It's a very good looking game. Music is really good. Movement is good. Cappy's ability to just capture stuff. I mean, you can literally drive this little scooter around the city. I mean, the worlds are really cool. The open environments are good. The costumes are cool. The transformations. I mean, it's such a unique game. Very good. Not really anything to complain about. I mean, if you like Mario games, you're gonna love this one. This is one of the best. Out of all the 3D Mario games, though, I definitely think this one's not as good as Galaxy or 64. Um, and it's not just because of nostalgia. I just like the way those games flow and how the gameplay works. Like, I like going in and out of the levels on a specific mission. Maybe you differ. That's understandable. Whichever one you like the most is totally opinionated, but they're all good. Mario 64 holds the cake. I just really like those levels and how it works and everything like that. But yeah, this game's really good. All the kingdoms are really cool. Show you the world map and go into different ones. But yeah, there's not really much to complain about this game. I mean, just make another one at this point. If we got a Galaxy 2, what's stopping them from making an Odyssey 2? That's all I can say. But another thing I just noticed is why is this game rated E10? It says for cartoon violence and comic mischief. How is it any different from like Mario Galaxy? Well, it's not mild cartoon violence because Mario Galaxy has that too. It must be Comic Mischief, but I don't even know what the frick that means. I mean, the ratings don't mean anything, but this is a Mario game. Why is it E10 plus? Like Smash Bros, I understand, but what the frick? Mario Odyssey? What? Anyway, as you can see, there's a world map. So essentially, your only hub is your little ship, but that's not really the hub. Each world is essentially a hub, and it's a level within itself. But there's a bunch of kingdoms in this game. They're all fun. All have fun bosses and moons to get. They're all really good looking. Um, I don't really know what else to say. It's just a really good game. There's a lot to do in it. There's like way. Oh, my biggest problem with this game is how easy some of the moons are. Like, for example, you can just ground pound on a piece of floor and you get a moon, right? It kind of devalues the moon because you only have to get like ground pound and get a moon and you're done, right? And whereas like a level Mario 64, some of them could be like that, like you just go in a cannon launch, get on the island, and then you get a star. But like ones where you have to do the boss and you get a star, that one's far more valuable. Or you going through the like entire level area and going on Dory and then long jumping, get the metal cap, stuff like that. You know, there's more to it. I think there was just so many moons in this game that it devalued them, and sometimes like triple moons you get for bosses as well. So I just think there was way more than there needed to be. If there was like a lot less, I think it would be like, you know, I understand not having 120 because there's a lot of kingdoms, a lot of stuff to do. But like at a maximum, maybe like 300 and something, I think would probably be good. Mario Galaxy 2 had 240, and that was pretty good too. So I don't know. It doesn't really that much. That's my main complaint. Is some of the levels, or the moons in the levels are just they're like too easy to get, and some of them are a lot harder, so it kind of devalues them. Other than that, this game is very good. I have no complaints. One of the best Mario games. Hopefully, we get a sequel. And yeah, that's about all I have to say about this one. And thanks for watching.